What do you mean you feel so different than every other bike out there? So what if you're not the... What? Well, here, look. So, things that you and I have in common. You're short. I'm short. I'm like what my wife likes to call husky. You're not so slim yourself, but it fits you, you know? Yeah, there's other slimmer bikes out there, but they're not the TW. Hey, Matt here, and welcome to another Mob Street video. Now today, again, I'm here with my 2019 TW200, and the purpose of today's video is to, well, basically to show you how to do a little simple bit of preventative maintenance on it, you could say. So I've noticed, you know, with this stock chain, this sucker, it gets loose quick. So I've already adjusted it a couple times, and I was gonna go and adjust it again, but I figured might as well show you. It's a very simple step, and one that can be performed with just the basic tools. So let's get after it. We'll show you how to adjust the chain on the TW200. Alrighty, let's show you the tools that we're going to use for this chain adjustment procedure. So as you can see in the owner's manual, it shows you right here, this is your spec. Okay, 35 to 65 or 35 to 60 millimeters, 1.38 to 2.36 inches. Anyways, and then you look over here, this shows you your torque spec. So we're going to be using a ratchet, 22 millimeter socket, 19 millimeter box end, open end, so that we can hold the axle on the one side while we loosen the axle nut on the other side. And then our trusty torque wrench there to get our 66 foot-pounds of torque when we're all said and done. Now, if you do not have a 22 millimeter or a 19 millimeter, all right, now when you're doing this, these are your cam adjusters. They're going to go against that little knobby right there, and the more you rotate them, that is going to move the rear tire backwards or forwards, whichever direction you go. So Yamaha made it nice for us, and they numbered this little cam lobe, and this is numbered the exact same on both sides so that it will align your rear wheel. When you're doing this, make sure that these little indents here are both the same on the little nubbies here on the swing arm so that your rear wheel will track straight. So we're going to measure our chain deflection right here midway between the rear sprocket and the front sprocket. Now, it's a good idea to roll the bike back and forth a couple times and check a few different places along the chain, because you might have a tight spot somewhere in that chain, and even though this might measure in the right spot, if you find a tight spot in the chain, that's where you're going to want to make your adjustment. First thing we're going to do is we are going to misadjust our rear brake pedal rod. Now the reason we're doing this is because when you go to adjust this plate, you're pulling that tire backwards, which in turn is going to put more force on your brake. And if you've got it really, really tight, depending on how much you adjust that rear wheel, you just might have your brake shoes in there rubbing on the brake drum, creating drag. To do this, simply turn this guy out. make sure to readjust that afterwards, because if you don't and you take off after adjusting your chain and you go to hit your rear brakes and you haven't adjusted that, something bad might happen. We're going to use our 22 millimeter over here on the axle nut side and our 19 over there on the other side to hold the axle in place. You're going to break this guy loose like that. Now, you don't have to take the axle nut all the way off. Okay? Just want to make it loose to where you can adjust this guy if you need to. There you go. You see the rear wheel move? And now we can make our adjustments. Might take you a second just to get both of those cam adjusters on the same. Go ahead and leave that a little bit tight so that you can adjust it on both sides. And I've got my chain sitting now at 1.5 inches. Our second to our last step, we are going to re-torque our rear axle nut to the proper specified torque. And here in the US, that is 66 foot-pounds. So, holding the axle on the other side, go ahead and torque this guy down. There we go. Axle is torqued. And remember, readjust your brake lever. Next comes my favorite part. Take it out for a test ride. Now, when you do this, make sure to start out slow because you want to be certain that your rear brake pedal is adjusted correctly. So start out a little bit slower, check your brake pedal before you get out onto the road really, just to make sure that that's adjusted correctly. Then go out and make sure that everything feels good. Sweet, that's it. That's how easy it is to adjust the chain on your TW200, and just quick, simple. Now, they recommend that you check that before every single ride. That's kind of extensive, but you can kind of hear it in the bike. You can hear the bike chugging a little bit, or you can hear the chain getting a little bit louder, and I mean, you'll be able to physically hear the difference in the chain, which I noticed on mine. So pull the bike in, 10 minutes later, you've got your chain adjusted, you're back out on the road. Now, it might be a little bit of a challenge at first, just to make sure that those cam adjusters are adjusted the same amount on both sides. You want to make sure of that so that, again, your rear wheel is tracking correctly. So, yeah, quick, simple. If you don't have the owner's manual, that's how you do it. And we'll call her there. I hope you found this video informative. Yes, it is a simple thing that every TW owner should know how to do. So we're putting it out there. So make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, follow along, and I'm going to let it go at that. I'm Matt, this is Mob Street, and thanks for watching.